We'll start with our norms. We will base our decisions on data and facts rather than on what we think students should do or our experience as a teacher. We will be positive about all of our students and offer solutions, not excuses. PLC is greater than policy. Our collaborative team is a safe place to struggle, seek, and solve without fear of judgment or being singled out. When my work is done, I will say, "How can I help you?" We will hold each other accountable and we will have the hard conversations. Lessons are due the second PLC meeting of the week. Make sure they are reviewed, copies and made and delivered on Friday. When we are off topic, we will hit the llama and we will review our norms once in 9 weeks.
Thank you. Okay, we'll start with celebrations. Does anybody have celebrations to share?
We today were picking out our books in both classes to read tomorrow. And like the afternoon class, like we kind of knew like they would do really well with it and be really excited about reading to the younger kids. The morning class is a little bit more difficult. Like they're afraid to read. They know that they struggle, and they were doing so good today. They were reading to Michaela and I, and it was amazing. Like they were doing a really good job. They were using their teacher voices, so it was pretty cool. We were proud of them.
I'm super proud of Jane. She has graduated from Rise, and we took our summative on character studies, and she made 100 plus the 10 extra points for her notes. She made 110.
Go ahead, girl.
So I'm just so proud of
She's come a long
her.
way.
I'm just really, she's thriving.
Thriving.
She's thriving.
So
So
good.
proud of Jane.
Talking about kids moving, Allie's 3 that came into my class, it was like they came into the lower class, but they've transitioned really well, and they're sometimes even switching friends and stuff is hard. So socially they've done well, and then academically they're doing good with the extra support. So
Sweet.
And in the afternoon, we started a math version of Rise. We call it ACE groups. And with Gaga pulling out, it has just really opened up the opportunity for them to be able to focus, remove all distractions, and they are thriving. They're doing really well.
Yeah.
That's good.
Our summative went really well for the end of our character study. I was very pleased with Rise. Half of them got their star immediately. The other half, really a little more than half, got their star immediately with 80 or above. But the other half were just one question away. And we went over it today for our reteaching time, and they were all like, oh, a lot of them were like, oh, I had, or some of them had it first, but then they just didn't trust themselves. So I feel very encouraged. I feel very encouraged that from where they started at the beginning, they're just completely different readers and students. So I'm very pleased.
me and Gretchen got shouted out in the meeting today talking about the same thing. So just the growth. So that was awesome. All right, grammar with Bethany.
Okay, this week we're doing commas in a series. So next week we're going to stay with commas.
I need John Chandler Skipper out of Good News to the car line for dismissal. John Chandler Skipper out of Good News to the art room door.
We're going to stay with commas next week, just with some more comma rules. So, and it's a 4-day week too. With the spiral on the back of our grammar test that we took last week, I mean, I think they did really well on capitalization and the spiral. I just noticed, and I think we all noticed when we were grading, verb tenses. And 8 was kind of trickier because it said identify the verb tense in the sentence below. So one thing, they had to find the verb and then determine if that was past, present, future. So in warm-ups next week, that'll definitely be a day for us to kind of dig in on that, because that seemed to be the one they missed the most. And also that pronoun agreement. So we'll just zoom in on that on warm-ups too, so they don't forget it. But overall, they did good. Yeah.
Love it. Okay, and then the cross curriculum, just to update, we've started
Okay, perfect.
geometry.
So the idea for our next unit in reading is a text structure unit, and the kids will, and it's a little bit of inquiry with research too. So we normally do a research of an endangered animal. So at the end, they research it with a group of kids. So kind of like our extension.
If you are staying for Annie practice, please walk quietly to the music room at this time. If you are staying for Annie practice, please walk to the music room at this time.
So for the extension, for the kids who are getting it, who pass their summative at the end, we'd like to do a cross-curricular project where the endangered animals that they research, they actually build a habitat, like an enclosure for that animal using geometry. So it will be a project that we can do to include math with reading and kind of bridge that together for the ones who.
And I've kind of mentioned it
Yeah.
to them, and they're so excited. I'm
Good.
like, you're gonna get to do something in reading.
Yes.
You're working hard
They're
with it.
doing really well with geometry, so it
That's
should-
awesome. There were some,
well
because I
together.
did this with the GT project, there were some fourth grade standards that were in there, but that was from map testing. I just knew that they had to be exposed to higher level math standards. So there were some, in that rubric, there are some fourth grade geometry terms in there too that I just used to kind of accelerate them.
We
So,
can make sure we add those in.
thank you.
Ours.
Perfect.
Cool.
All right, so we're ready to split. Reading, you're going over summative. You have it all linked. Wow, check you out. Revisions for next year. And then math, we're also going over our fraction study guide to get ready for our fraction test. So we have, let's see, math, a teacher. All right, 39 minutes. Is that right? Yes. So we'll meet back at 3:10.
Perfect.
Sweet.
This one, most of them missed on our item analysis.
Yeah.
Choose two answers.
Yes.
A lot of them forgot to go back and choose two.
And
Yeah, and making
part of the
notes.
formatting that they're used
So
to.
teaching them how do we box motivated? What does motivated mean? Want, what the character wants. So teaching them those test taking skills will really help too.
Right.
So we
Maybe we
can
take out multiple choice.
reteach this week.
But I don't know then how
And
you
then-
figure out, maybe you would have to go.
Do you think
go over
Friday,
fractions.
or are we gonna do
Sentences
a
through.
theme assessment Friday?
That's what I need to check in with
Okay.
y'all. What is the, I've
So
left
we'll
Friday,
back at
there's
number 9.
theme in
Yeah.
there for us to just continue to review whole group. I have a complete theme
let's
test
look
if we
at
wanna
the-
do, just split it in half and only do like
the
5 or
measure
so,
taken.
just to
Okay.
see how they're
Because
doing
that's
with
where the
just theme.
majority of my
Or do we
days-
wanna do another like
And I think, first
Do
of all,
we
we already
want
said
some
that
type
they
of
struggle
like,
converting it to
spiral
numbers.
plus
But I
the
also
theme?
think
I mean, what are our
It's confused
thoughts?
them because we
Yes.
never
Or do we
did
wanna
that
use
in
that
class.
time for
Right, I had some mark
retesting?
in.
So
They were
we need to
getting the
give a
fraction and the whole
retest
confused.
soon
They
for
were
those
thinking-
kids.
Yeah.
And I found Bethany and I picked out a passage
Okay.
that we think will be good. We're gonna, when we go over our item analysis, we wanna target the questions that we think that they're still struggling with. So we need time to reteach the things that we know that they need from this.
Right.
Yeah, I'm
And
good
then
with
write
either
a
way,
new,
but I definitely
like,
would
second
take this out.
assessment that they can take to earn their star.
Okay.
So
Not
take
two
out-
passages
out
this
the
time,
number.
Just
take out
one.
one.
Just one.
That's what I wondered too, if like that had something to do, especially with my morning class,
Yeah.
with
Maybe
just
make
their
this one
attention
multiple
span,
choice.
and there being
Yeah.
two passages, and we had
Yeah.
not done
Test.
the two
Yeah.
before. You know, I wondered if that could, maybe skewed some things. I don't know.
And Bethany had a really good idea with that. How you only gave them the passage.
We'll find out that, right?
Yeah, so
Yes,
I
that I thought they did well with, and I
Yeah.
thought we
I
practiced.
only gave like our new old house, and then I gave them their notebook paper, and I said, I'm reading this. You're taking your notes on
okay.
this. Set your paper up, how
This
you're
one I
gonna
feel
That's
take
smart.
notes.
And
And once they were done taking their notes, they raised their hand, and I said, okay,
Agreed.
that's your ticket. I didn't check your
Right.
notes, but that's your ticket, so here's
And
your
I
test
think the
question.
word
That's
problem
smart.
fraction
And
Okay.
so
is
that
working
kind of
for
slowed them down
Yeah.
too, and it gave me.
Students stay for goalposts.
Right.
Goalposts.
Okay.
Go to your
we
spot
should
at this
see
time.
about
Students
everybody's
stay
about
for
done with that.
goalposts.
Right.
But that really slowed them down.
Sweet. Okay.
So that would, I'll probably keep doing that,
Yes.
at least until
Yes.
we release with
Yeah.
Right.
reading the passages to them.
Yeah.
We gotta build the stamina,
Yeah.
but also
So
the
it-
strategy
it was
of how they
really-
can do that
And to
themselves.
break it, yeah, them
Yes.
I don't know, I think
themselves,
this was
take
like
it
our
this
hardest
passage,
one
and
yet.
take it this
Overall.
passage.
Exactly.
disappointed with
So you said y'all have already
Students
chosen
stay for
a
the
passage.
YMCA
We've
program.
got
Walk
the passage, but
quietly.
just no, not the question.
Students
Students
Have
stay
you-
for
did
the
y'all- have we-
Please walk to your
Have y'all
counselor.
shared that yet?
No, I've got it right here.
Yes, mine's about there as well.
We can go ahead
called Chirping Chirp.
When I was looking at the
Chirping
students,
I'm
that
gonna
have to
copy
retake
this whole thing and then just
the
do it in a Google
majority
Doc
are from my
because
morning class,
I don't like it
Majority
when
from
it's
my afternoon class.
PDF and
except
separate.
for
Yeah.
one. Well, have
I
one
think
student
looking at
who also
the
needs
item
to retake.
analysis,
Okay.
like we definitely are
So
gonna look
was
like
wondering
Yes.
if
number
since
9,
we have interventionists
36
in my
missed
morning.
out.
Yeah, number 9. Number 9 is a for sure.
So we for sure want something that has 2 answers.
Yes.
on it.
Yeah,
For example,
Which
I
they
was
all,
very-
you know, like that's been like all years they
It
struggle. So they
really
really
has. Yeah,
need.
so
You
that
think at
they-
this
we
point,
need
yeah,
Extension
they
goes
just
in
need more
one
practice
room,
with it, I
They
guess.
do.
we'll go on
And
the other room.
remembering.
Do
Remembering
you
that
have
it
some
says
to send me in
that.
the morning?
So see
Yeah.
that one for sure.
Perfect.
36.
Okay. So,
Number
what is the plan
6.
to
Yeah,
enrich
that
and
which
extend
was
the
part of
Part A,
5,
Part
so
B,
80
yeah.
is
Highly
one of those.
proficient. You have any good ideas for
Um,
That was so many less than just
Maybe
making sure
because
they know
drawing the number line
trait
was so
versus
tricky,
feeling.
maybe having them
Yeah.
draw their own number line,
that?
Really,
Creating number
creating
lines.
their own number line.
I know Gretchen had told me a strategy she did was to have the
you,
kids right beside it, T or F, and you might have said that too.
Oh.
But that way, as
Yeah,
they're
that would be
reading,
good
go
to
ahead and
keep
put
pushing
beside
that since
scared
we're on
is a
the
feeling, and so
Right.
then we know we're not going to pick.
And
that
you can
one.
mark that out. Yeah, that makes sense.
And
Okay.
so a lot
Kids knew what
of
athletic meant.
mine didn't know athletic. He
No.
said, "What is athletic?" I was like, "Sporty."
Which is surprising with our
Like,
boys.
Sporty.
Right. It's,
Okay. Anything else unique
I mean,
for
okay,
extension?
3 had 18.
I think that's good.
That's how did
Especially when
Ramon's
it's a creative that
feelings
gets you to
change from the
Change.
beginning to the end?
Yeah, okay.
And I feel like a lot of them
I think
said,
getting what the standard needed. I think
um,
that'll give you a good extension from
A
there.
or
Well,
B.
yeah, like
Even when we were sitting there,
creepy to
looking
friend,
at something
funny,
you're
or
working on,
hateful
that's
to
what we
friend.
do.
Like I'm
A
wondering
lot of mine did hate, but
with
it's
I wonder if they saw creepy
Yeah.
on B
Yeah.
because the house was like,
Mhm.
set, you know, like
Okay, so
and
your
then it
students
even
and,
he even said, "I hate this house." And so I can
That's-
see
so
where
in
they
the
got that. But then
intervention
if they would
group,
have thought, well, who was he a friend
I was
to?
thinking
Right.
like,
I
There was
know.
nobody there.
Right.
And
friendly
having that
and
conversation in that pre-teaching
like,
time really helped them. Like, you
Yeah.
have to be
Like,
hateful to somebody. But I
Right,
think, like
right.
you said, they got confused.
yeah.
They
It's
just
so easy for them to get confused. It's so confused.
So the story that y'all pulled.
Drawing, they're not
Yeah, it's
getting
now
No,
in the PLC.
also-
Okay.
Fraction
So if you
pieces
go to
with
the
little bars
character
and,
studies, I
what do they
just
call
named
it,
it
the
summative
strips,
retake.
sentence strips.
I'm just having to reformat it because when I
Okay,
copied
fine.
it, it got all wonky.
Set them up?
Mhm.
Like that? Okay.
It
So,
didn't keep any of the paragraphs, so
Love
that's
that.
a shame.
Love that.
chirping,
alright,
chirp.
so we could use sentence strips
I've
for
actually
that.
got it somewhere.
Here, I can send you the
I
link.
don't know what to say. Yes, it says to see how to paragraph
It's
it.
like 7/1 equals 7 holes. They want to say that's 1, or 7/7. They want to say that's 7
I think
holes.
what
You
y'all
said it's in
talked about
PLC?
doing it, 'cause
It's
the more you
in
can be
the
hands-on with it.
hub.
Well, yeah, hub,
Hub,
and then PLC.
They
reading,
gotta nail that before they get into
then
pictorial
character
stuff.
studies.
That's
Perfect, there it
before they
is,
get
okay.
into Whatever algorithm or way that they're gonna model it, so I
And
think
you
when
named
y'all are
it,
talking about
like,
it,
Summative
read-
they
retake.
need to
Okay.
understand not just
Let me
know
just,
it's
would it help if I just share it? Let me
I
share
found
it.
it now.
Okay.
Right.
I think you
Chirping
can build
chirp.
it,
Okay, so
it makes a little bit more sense, like y'all are saying.
I like
I got
that.
it.
And
Okay.
it's just different than drawing, because I thought
Yeah,
drawing
I'm
was going to be enough, but they're not understanding.
One thing I was reading
So
too,
basically,
the boys
in
I had
this
my class,
story,
especially stereotypical, but like they would get hung
they
up
go
not necessarily on
outside,
the concept of the fraction, but on
and
the
I think the
drawings.
mom
Because the drawings are
is
so all over the place, and how to divide it
cutting,
equally into
no,
equal groups.
I'm
that
getting
they
confused.
weren't really getting the concept.
But
of
there's a
equal
bird's
groups or things that
nest.
look
They
like
find
that.
the bird.
But if there's something
It's
that's
hurt.
kind of pre-made and built like that or cut
And
out,
Daniel is just a
That was
nature
interesting
lover. He
concept.
loves to go
You get
outside and
around
play in
there,
his
kind
backyard.
of sloppy drawings that a third
And he
grader
goes
can do.
outside and he finds an injured bird.
So for both
They
of
put it in a
those,
shoebox.
we'll use the hands-on
They call the
fraction
vet,
circles.
Okay.
or they go to the animal
Or
hospital.
that's all of that, same
And then at the
numerator.
end,
Right,
it's
that's all in
healed,
one. It could be one
and they
station.
release him back into the trees.
Oh,
Drawing that number line.
is there like a
So it would be better.
like a change in Daniel from the
Counting
beginning to
the
the
spaces
end, like
they're
a
getting confused
feelings
about
change?
counting
If
the
not, it's
numbers.
okay. I was just thinking about that.
Maybe
Yeah, I
it could be from worried
I
about
will
the
say
bird
opposite.
to
Okay.
Like relieved,
Do we
maybe,
mix
it?
or
Yeah,
something
relieved.
like that. Maybe that's a good testing.
Or
word.
before the study guide through my.
Um,
I would agree with that, that maybe.
Just
needs
'cause
to be
that was
an
one of the
extension
ones on
piece.
that they missed. the
Yeah.
most.
Alright,
Um,
so.
But at
where's
the beginning, he's
fractions?
excited because he's
Okay.
excited. He can't wait to go outside.
Converting. What
So
else were
nice
there
outside,
main
he
word
grabbed
problems,
his-
like fraction word problems could be a station.
So it would
yeah, he
be-
jumped out of bed ready for
Yeah.
a full
Number
day outside.
21.
So if
Okay.
we did a feeling, could we do a
Where it
feeling
says
change from the
elementary
beginning to the
to
middle of the
middle.
story?
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be
kinda-
good. I think that could be really good.
I agree.
They
So from
didn't
excited
recognize
to
each piece of it, and they
worried.
just
Worried,
in
yeah.
1/5.
And then what were
And
the other
mine
ones we were
drawing a
saying?
picture for one kid
That
and a
AB.
picture for two kids.
Okay, yeah, so
rather
what
than
character
realizing they only have
trait?
one pizza.
It's just
A lot of mine ended up.
Oh, and I
costing
said
money.
too on
So
I was thinking
Compared.
said to
they try
myself.
to
Love that. Come on.
I think
Fraction word problems.
for next
I'll
year,
understood it
if
was a
we're
whole,
specific
just
with
one
this
pizza.
one and say which character trait best describes
Yeah, and
Amy
then when
at
I
the
drew
end
it
of the
out.
story.
Yes, I thought
like
the
that,
same
I think
thing.
we won't have as
Hey,
many miss it.
Because I had kids, I'm glad you said that. I had kids who walked up to me during the test and said, when, they probably did YouTube. And we're like, when? Because we have given different ones. That's really smart.
I think they
if we
clearly knew.
tweak
Does
they
somebody
were
else
not
have the
good.
summative pulled up so
Mhm.
we can go ahead and tweak that too while we're at it?
Oh, the old summative? Hang on, I can pull it
Yeah,
up.
the one about the
Okay.
highlights, because I had
Well.
some randomly to pick on number 9. Was that the one? Yeah, the last 2 questions.
Choose two.
Yes, they picked that they both went to the pool in the summer, swimming in the summer. And I think that they were just thinking of the
Yes.
last, so I think we need like a little
number lines went well.
heading between it. Now stop and think about both, something to
Yeah.
signal.
Draw their attention.
Yeah.
Identifying.
Now we're gonna ask you questions about both passages.
Yeah, I told them that whenever I was like giving the directions.
Yes.
But if they remembered that by the time they got there.
I know, they
It was
just.
a lot.
Skills
Yeah.
It was a lot to
passages
remember.
are, that's a lot.
So do you think maybe after question 8, having just like a state, like a bolded underlined
Yes.
statement that said the next 2 questions, you will have to, should we use the synthesize? Because didn't we teach, I mean, should we put that in there?
Yeah.
You have to
They
synthesize
understand that
both
it's not
stories to
there.
answer. That's what I'm putting there.
Yes, love it.
That helped them a lot. Yeah, that was a big piece of it.
Synthesize.
Bringing back that
Yes.
good. Yeah, they need to know
Yeah.
that because it comes
They
up.
could understand, and it was like broken into fours, and 3 of them were shaded. It's not 3 over 1; it's 3 fours,
I got you.
and there's 1 not shaded. That
That's a good point. They can point to the denominator
Mhm.
easily, but say what it is.
as far as understanding what it truly means.
Right.
I mean,
That is a.
we should probably
We need to talk
include
about
like
that
a
when we're
what
teaching.
motivated. We can say what motivated. What's his name? Daniel.
Daniel, yes, that's a good one.
Since that's like part of the standard too
Whole set.
for retaking.
Okay. Also, these were the kids that were.
Okay,
really
does this sound right?
good
You will need to
draw
synthesize what you know about
Or
both
draw
passages
some
to
type
answer
of
questions
model.
9 and 10. Is
Yes,
that fine? Okay.
perfect.
And I
Unless
underlined it
supported
and
or-
bolded it.
Love it.
It's very obvious.
Good.
And
We'll
then
see if
number
it
5,
is.
did we add in
Oh,
at the
number
end
5.
of the story?
Oh, I'll add
Like
that.
that.
Okay, which
I like
character
that.
trait best describes Amy
Okay.
at the end
There we go.
of the
Did
story?
And I think we'll
Was there
have, like,
anything else that I needed to
Seems
change?
like there was another one that I thought it would be even more clear. Maybe even number 8.
So we're gonna.
How Amy's feelings changed from the
From the
beginning to
beginning
the
to the
end of the
end.
story. Yeah, I thought that too. I was just looking at it.
An intervention and extension.
Weren't we gonna change
classroom in the
one of
morning
those
and
anyway?
in the
On number
afternoon.
8?
The answer's terrified to
Yes.
confident, but we said we could understand why they thought gloomy
Gloomy.
to
To full of happiness.
happiness.
So maybe we change gloomy to full of happiness to
You can put some in there about
From,
using targeted to a
um
specific standard by Excel. That's part of it.
Angry
yeah,
to
from
full of
angry
Good.
to what?
Full of happiness.
We can
Okay.
keep, yeah, the change, yeah.
Because that way they'd have.
Because she
to
wasn't
think of
angry.
both.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
that's good.
As well
Okay.
as small group.
Was that it for those? Did we feel good about questions 1 through 4 for the new old house?
We teach with.
I felt like so.
I would
Yeah,
say
they did
I
really
didn't
well
think that
on
they were.
that
I feel
one.
like most of them got all of those right.
We just want to do like 5 questions? How many do y'all think is that?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's fine.
How did his feelings change from the beginning to the middle?
Daniel.
I gotta go back and format some of this stuff a little bit better. Okay, we wanna say.
What motivated him to
And I really do think that's something
call
that
the animal
they
hospital?
could do
What
without
motivated him to release the bird?
having.
To release the bird, yeah, not keep it, okay.
Okay, so the
Fractions on
answer we
underline.
said
Now,
is
that one, they
um,
might still need to
excited.
change it.
Oh, wait,
Worried.
and we said to the middle. Hang on, let me fix that. Middle of the story. Beginning to the middle of the story. So he is excited to, or from excited.
Same day and time.
I
think mixed in with these threw them
Mine
off.
are
I think that was
asking
tricky, and I did not like that question.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
excited that
Could we
Love
change
that.
it? All right, so we have
I'm
over a
not
whole. How many of those do we have?
Two.
So could we change it to like
in this
3/3?
Yes, we can do that.
Okay.
Let's do that. Because they do have those other two later
What's y'all's plan? Y'all gonna have?
where they have to do
How long
3/3
y'all taking to
and
reteach
7 whole
before you
again.
do it?
That's perfect.
Where they write. So let's make these
Yeah,
multiple
well,
choices. You're gonna have to write
I
later
talked
on.
to Amber
Yes.
about planning, kind of got our plan going.
What? All right. So maybe one would be something they would
So it was just a
choose.
good time for us to do it
They
today.
would
and
choose-
They would also
just
choose a
practice
fraction.
to
1/4.
tomorrow during
They
National
could
Day.
choose
And a
4 holes.
majority of the ones, a vast majority of the ones that need to
And
be
then
are-
some of
they will
mine literally
identify
wrote
questions
4/1
too. So
again.
it's
I think
like,
you
Okay.
could give that as an
after a
option.
week of
Yep.
reteach,
That they don't
they
put
To
it
see
in.
who truly knows it.
Mhm.
You
How
know,
many kids retaking ballpark?
oh gosh.
Okay. Same
Well,
thing
mine
here.
had class, but-
I've got 6.
I think the same
We
setup.
don't have
Switch
any.
it.
It's all
Go
right.
ahead.
Switch what?
Love it.
Bethany.
No, I think it's even perfect
I have
to go in the same.
I think
Same order?
I think
Same
that's
order.
good.
I'd like to do it this, I'd like to do it this way.
Oh yeah, that's
So
not
that they have a chance
I
to
think
burn
if y'all
out
are a
class.
team, I feel like y'all have plenty of time to
Do
get it
they,
done.
is that time?
The thing with my morning class is, again, they're gonna need it multiple times. So like, I'm going to retest them on whenever we retest the rest of them,
2
but
and then 2/1 whole
Yes.
the feeling I get is I'm gonna have to, I'm gonna
Okay.
get even more reteaching with
All right,
them, which
with
is
the
completely
school
fine.
van.
It's just the nature of
The
that
school
class.
van, yeah.
But I don't think that it's
Actually,
hurtful
transition
because a few of them
with the
are
pizza.
somewhat close to
Is
getting
there a way
start.
where we could already
And
have
so
the
I think it
pizza?
could be good, like another chance for some of
This
them
may
to really
you may
close
think it's
to
not
it,
challenging
and
enough,
then
but
we
have the
so
pizza
much time to
split
get
up
groups that,
into
like,
I was gonna
6.
say,
No, I
and
think
then they
that's
say,
fine.
Not in there
um,
right now, but y'all could
that way they
almost,
know
like,
they're only
Right.
working
Because our
with
standards
one.
are technically
Right,
with
well,
a
we
model.
can,
You're
like,
just-
With a
we
model,
can
It's
right?
with a
So I
model.
think that would
during the
still
week, we
be
can take
like
a day or
as
two off of Hagerty
you know, I
and
think it's still
do, like, a
challenging
reteach
enough.
They have to
set,
understand
for,
what
like,
they're doing.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
I was like,
right?
how's she gonna
How's she
do
gonna do
that?
So
that?
don't,
No
don't
worries, no
judge.
worries.
Okay.
Just format that a little bit. We'll be good to
Love
go.
Oh yeah, mine
And I think-
Mm.
100%.
Let's add multiple choice to
Because it's
this
just a
just
handful.
because of the number.
Okay.
That-
I agree.
So they're gonna definitely try to pick 3, 6.
Yeah, and that'll be.
Mine also messed with the denominator.
Did
They were,
they?
yeah, they were going.
No, altogether would be too
They were
much.
changing it to
But
12.
What number was
That
that?
number 21.
Oh yeah, you have to do that.
I'm writing
So
their
it's
name
legible.
on their
Mine crossed
card.
multiple times. I didn't realize
They
that.
They
No.
push the star up.
And then they could just compare the fractions. So this will help them. All right, 3, 6,
Yeah.
4, 6.
Alright, I went ahead and put the.
Maybe you could even just add and do 3/12. Or
3/12, okay.
Okay.
Thing.
And then
Then
4/12.
do we want a theme test?
I like it.
That's-
4,
Maybe not.
6
Maybe
is
we
what it's
push.
supposed to be.
Maybe we
They
push the
completely
theme
messed up the
test.
Yes.
denominator. Okay.
'Cause we're
Feel good about that.
Feel good about that.
Okay.
We're moving on to reviewing for non-fiction,
Let's see.
like going back to boxes and
We already
bullets.
changed
Just
those.
being one
We
of
felt
our-
only one person missed that. So
But honestly, on
I feel
this
very good
one,
about that.
on our item analysis,
Identifying,
the theme
counting the spaces.
questions
I agree
in
with
the whole
that.
third grade.
I liked that.
Only
It's
it's interesting that only one person missed that
Okay,
one.
so I
So
mean.
really,
The lines are on the number
are we
line.
doing okay?
And then when they
on
have to
the
completely
retest,
make their
obviously,
own.
There's gonna be a theme question.
They had a hard time with that. And I wonder if it was like spacing it
we
equally.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what
The
was
visual
happening there.
aspect of it.
Yeah, like just a short, like a few questions with like the little short passages.
Mhm.
Because you can
Okay.
determine, I was gonna say, if you, yeah,
What
30
do we
passages,
have?
and it wouldn't take very long.
This
Yeah.
week is 7.
We just don't.
Yes,
Maybe
this
we
week
could
is
go
done.
ahead and help them and
Which
split
will
this
have
one
prefix
into
suffix on there.
force. What mine are doing
Or
is they're
do-
drawing a
here's
half,
the
coloring
question.
that in,
Because
and
next
then just
week we're
drawing a
having
third
prefix
over here,
suffix
so they're
summit.
not making them.
So-
Agreed,
Do we-
because
do
they
we
read
take the little
more,
questions that
and
I'll
then
put
they
in
stop.
here
Yeah, they
all
weren't
and
understanding
use
that
with
you
the
have to do
theme
it
in there
equally on
instead.
all sides.
So then their
Agree.
words and then
So
theme.
if you would go to that
Instead, because
and
next week we're
bold
gonna have that
equivalent
whole summit
2 on the
assessment.
test and their
Practice for the summit.
can you draw
Okay,
that?
that, no,
Oh,
that's
you
fine. I was just
you
bringing
can
that
do the
up.
table again.
No,
Yes.
absolutely
So
fine.
we can
I
do
was
the
just-
table.
Brilliant. Okay, I was
Listen, we
looking
used
for.
I'm sorry.
But
I was just
honestly,
bringing it up
the
as a-
spelling is like right there, and then there's only
Oh.
5 prefix up.
Right.
Going
Yeah,
back
it's
a
not
little
Oh,
that.
yeah.
So here's
Going
the
back a little bit.
here's the
Unit
theme.
fractions. Did yours label 1,
Yeah,
4,
those are
2, 4,
the
3, 4,
Yes,
4,
mine did
4?
that.
The
Mm-hmm.
theme.
How do we
So
fix
could just
that?
do the
I'm gonna
front,
put
or
it
just
on
do
the day of the
side,
protocol,
and not do the
Okay, that's
back,
as
just
a
because-
intervention. intervention.
Some,
Okay.
and then just on that,
Fraction.
because we've been spiraling a lot with
choice. He said I have
Yes.
it
Maybe a
multiple
unit
choice, but I
fraction
have
a
to write
day
it on that
versus
vote
a
sheet.
It's hard.
or just identifying which one's a unit fraction,
It is
which one's just a
trickier.
shaded
When I
fraction,
told
something
you,
like
especially
something along
my-
those
my
lines.
morning
I like
class,
that.
I said, if you're struggling to write down a theme, I says, there's probably going to be a theme question on the test.
That
So go
will give
look,
it, yeah.
take that, or look at that question, and then you can write it down. So I told him that's fine. Okay, that's good then. So
All right,
we'll keep
love
it,
that.
We'll also have some practice for
So
subjects.
come in. I can look for some specific IXLs that they can do while they're with us.
Okay.
We'll drop that in.
Yeah, perfect.
All right, so
Make sure they
determine
align.
So what is the point of view? What's number 2? We just wanted like 5 questions. How many do you think is that?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, we are good to go here. I'll go back. I gotta go back and format some of this stuff a little bit better.
Okay, we want to.
Unit fractions is EE1, and I really do think that's something that they could do without having an interventionist right there.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Fractions on the number
answer
line. Now
says-
that one they might still need some
Excited.
teaching, but that's
Oh, wait,
EE3.
we said the middle. Hang on, let me fix that. Middle of the story. Beginning to the middle of the story.
Here,
So
I can pull that up
he
so that you don't have to flip back and forth.
To or from excited.
Number 3 maybe.
Yeah.
EE5 would also be good for fractions on the number line.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you have EE3, 4, and 5 for.
3, 4, and 5.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Well,
Add
it's
that
not
in.
letting them create. So I guess we said okay. Okay, perfect. That could be independent practice.
What was number 9?
I don't know. Is that?
What,
Number 9 was equivalent fractions,
Yeah.
but it was just format.
We said
His
okay.
baby,
What did
I
we
mean,
want to do for that?
He woke up in the beginning.
Um,
like he woke up or
An
whatever,
option
excited. He
is,
wasn't,
and we do not
you
have to
know,
go with this by any
we
means,
could do board.
but an option
Yeah, maybe
is
we'll do that. From board
going ahead and putting,
But I like tired. So
we could do like 3/4 is greater than,
Right.
6/8.
Except for we have to tell them. I see what you're saying.
or we could put completely fractions that are completely wrong.
Character trait and then evidence from the text. You want to on that one?
I think
Yes,
that's
no?
tricky. I like this way better
Okay.
because can we compare them? There's not another question like that on the test. Can we compare two number lines?
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
So I think go ahead with
he
it.
is
3,
very
4,
sad
6,
when he
8,
finds the
and then
bird.
But he doesn't
he-
start as-
Did he start board?
No, he did not at all.
He woke up and jumped out of bed.
Right. So and then we'll do from tired to energized. I don't know.
and then
I'm terrible.
6/8
Refresh.
is
Refresh.
greater than 3/4.
Ooh, I kind of like that,
So-
honestly.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a pretty
Right.
sense effects.
okay, good.
Okay.
I was like, we only have
That's
Yeah,
why
so
I
yeah.
added that job.
All right, I like that.
From tired to refresh. I
Okay,
like that.
what else do we need for the?
Bird was the
Intervention
bird,
room.
would build a new nest.
Have
Bird was
IXL.
there, you want to
Do
go.
we have any manipulatives that they need? We need fraction bars.
We need fraction bars.
bars.
And then do you have the fraction circles?
Yes, I do.
Okay, because I have some of those too
Yes.
that I think would be good.
Okay.
Should we add to C? Should we say the bird was better and ready to go back home, or no?
Yeah, do that.
Like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fractions. Okay. Look back at number 9, so that's done. I can take it off.
Sorry.
Deeper understanding of denominator.
Is there an IXL on that?
Let's see.
Part of a set? I think part of a set
Yeah.
helps them understand that more so than
Because
fractions.
he, yeah, that's a good one.
And we need a feeling thrown in there, like Bethany said.
Fractions of a group.
Yeah, that was it.
Fractions of a group. Okay, so that is DD
Okay, I'll add that in.
12 and 13.
Listen, it's kind of like when we've
Put
been
nice,
doing,
they're gonna put
or
nice over
when we've
here,
been doing
but
theme,
will
Okay.
be
they
nice.
truly every time they're
And-
like, be kind to others, or like treat
Yeah.
others the way you want to be treated. It's like, no, that's not it most of the time.
No.
Okay, and DD7 would be good because that's going to give it with fraction
That's what
bars.
you do, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I should have asked. This one was which two details show how they're similar.
Okay, so when do you feel
But
ready
they're not doing a
start
Friday.
switching classes?
The test is
We do
Friday.
Let's
Mhm.
I'll say tomorrow then.
I think we do Wednesday, Thursday,
Could you
and then we'll retest Friday.
What
And then next week we can look at
pieces of
the
evidence show
fraction
you that Daniel
test
Yeah.
and just
enjoys
make
the
sure
outdoors,
that they've all got it. 'Cause they
or-
did so well on their CFA, so I
Yes,
really
they
think
did.
it's just formatting / minor cleaning up.
Yes, I agree. I agree.
All right, so for next week on the agenda, I will put math theme.
We could,
We
make it-
are
keep it
analyzing
5, and on, so character study 3, we said which character
summative
trait best describes
assessments.
Carolyn, and select 2.
Okay,
we
so
could
Assessment
choose
data.
2 character traits to make it our, or do
Anything
you want
else
6
that you need?
questions?
Do you want to go ahead and start glancing at the next unit, looking at the CFAs there?
Yes.
What motivated Daniel to research?
Or hang on, actually we can look at
What
the
evidence from the text supports your answer?
the
And then
data
number
tracking
6
sheet.
or 5.
Oh, I'm on the wrong one.
Oh, and see if we need
Or-
to reteach
And
it.
see who
Five,
needs
but
to
it's
reteach.
But it'll move
Oh,
to
because
5.
if they,
So what
that could be
character-
done in the
a character
intervention
outdoors?
at the
Mhm.
table.
Yeah,
Mhm.
which standards were the most missed?
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good
I agree. Oh,
Activate.
Or what were you thinking?
I like Daniel.
I agree. Like just looking at
Yeah.
who didn't get that 80%, who doesn't have the star.
Mhm.
I agree with that. I cannot find
These days,
Yeah, I can't either.
That's
I'm the worst at
me.
this. Math.
Math data.
You
There we
that
go.
one.
Oh, nope. I'm still not in the right place.
Okay, I can share it with you.
And then part.
Oh, no,
or
forgot,
number
we're good.
4 will be part
No
B,
worries.
right?
I'll look for a piece of.
Okay, so we said that they
So it's
needed
gonna
to
be
have
which piece of evidence?
Yes.
1,
I
2,
think it's
3
Can I
out of
spell piece,
the
our word, one of our
4
words?
out of the 5.
Yeah, and we said they
3 out of
have
the
to
4.
have part of a
The
whole.
answer's gonna be this one that I've.
They
Okay, so
had
do
to
you
have
have
that.
anyone retaking?
Hold on,
part of a
so I'm
whole?
gonna
I do
shut
not
up
know.
for a
I
minute.
have Silas.
We need an E on this one.
So he's already retaken the test, so he can do that at that station.
Mhm.
Oh, we said we need a feeling. That.
Okay.
That's 3 minutes.
Say about 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
3. All right, what about part of a set or area model?
Um,
We're so close. 3 minutes. We can do it. We can do it.
And we-
I
think
have
we've hit all of our
one
things that we
on
need
the
to
part
talk
of a
about.
set
We
or
got a
area
plan
model.
for theme.
All right,
We're gonna
so
do it Friday,
set,
Yes.
I'm just gonna do all the
Silas.
phases this
Well, what was the
Friday.
first one?
Well,
Part of a whole.
Next week's gonna be a hot mess with Valentine's Day,
And you're
anything
not
like that.
here.
30 seconds.
Countdown.
Okay, we're good.
Unless you're ready, okay. All right, so reading, what will y'all be working on next meeting?
Well, we are going to be talking about text structures, that's coming up. And we also will talk about how these kids did on their retest, how many kids we were able to help get their star for mastering our essential standard. We also need to go over data from theme, but we're gonna be reteaching. I know-
We were very productive.
Going over results for theme.
Wow.
Going over results from summative, going over results from theme,
Gotcha.
reteaching, getting ready for our next essential standard, which is text structures.
Got it? Okay. Great. We talked about our fraction study guide, so we'll talk about the fraction test results. And we're trying to like build in the essential standards and stars into the reteaching, but we might have to
Go back.
recheck to
Yeah.
make sure every student has gotten their essential standards. And then we'll work on our next unit.
Start aligning those CFAs and stuff.
Sweet.
All right. Great job, everybody.
Good, y'all. Sounds good.